Oh, you touch my tra-la-la. My ding-ding-dong.
Hitman Blood Money, aka the real Hitman 3, not Contracts, is the fourth installment in the Hitman franchise, and according to fans, it's considered as the best Hitman game ever made.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Now, originally I wanted to take a break from the Hitman franchise and making content in general just to rest until I have the mood and motivation to hop back into making new videos. But at some point after doing my Hitman Contracts video, I just wanted to play Blood Money again just to see how it differs from the newer and older games. Plus, with Blood Money being re-released on mobile phones, featuring Instinct mode, okay, you do you, this seems like a good opportunity. So now that I've finally reached the fourth Hitman game, the real question is, does this game hold up? Has it aged well as people thought it was? Is it on par, or is it better than the new games? That's what we're about to find out on this game review, so let's go! What a beautiful Duang. Chew. Already, right after the dark and edgy game that was Hitman Contracts, the game pretty much abandons all of that with a more bright and shiny sunshines, rainbows, lollipops, and sprinkles, well, maybe not the last three, for its art direction both in-game and in cutscenes. So I'm dead already. Guess IRL Interactive really wants to replace him with a hot Bichon Blondie, huh? Still, I do like this menu of 47 about to be buried in his funeral, while the game's targets just look at you. It kinda makes it feel like you're watching the fall of a hero. Yeah, I know it sounds sad, but stuff like these is why I consider video games as an art form. Well, some games. Not sure if sports games count when they're just, well, sports. Sheesh, this is just a tutorial level and already there's a park disaster. Shame this is the only pre-rendered cutscene where we get to see such chaos involved. But despite being newer than the last game, is it just me or do the cutscenes here look blurry and very early 360p YouTube quality? Sure, the cutscenes of Contracts are just a 47 wounded until transitions into a memory of his past missions, but this looks uglier than the visually pleasing scenes of Contracts. Still, I gotta give credit because where you have the last gen or a later generation console, it almost does look like you own a next gen game with its graphics. Yes, I will admit the Play-Doh-like polygonish designs doesn't make them look like human at times, since modeling isn't that advanced yet. But seeing the game's lighting over the texture just makes some levels just visually impressive, and sometimes it could just even breathe the game itself. Why touch grass when I could just play Hitman Blood Money? No, 47! Wait! I'm on your side! The first level is a linear guided tutorial featuring a narrator. Not sure if this narrator is an ICA operator, but I would prefer Bruce Campbell doing the tutorial narrations.
What would Spider-Man be without his spider powers? I'll tell you, he'd be Man. Is that what you came here to play? Man 3?
From here, it introduces some new mechanics such as unlimited coin throwing, human shields, hiding bodies or yourself, knife throwing, elevator kills, switching off breakers, dropping enemies, and my favorite item in the game, bombs! Not sure who this guy is, but with that blonde hair, I'm assuming this is the Blondie trying to replace 47 as the new main character. When you're done with a mission, you get to your safe house where you can test out your weapons to shoot targets, glass balls, rats, by using the guns you upgraded, and stall when you reach the exit zone of the level. Pretty place for someone wearing an expensive suit, but okay, it's sufficient. The Batcave of Contracts was better though. Once we get to the second level, this is where the real story begins. It takes place in the present day of 2006, where Bionicle Hordika has been replaced in favor of the Inika series, and a reporter visiting a generic supervillain mansion. Good to know this universe has the least number of corrupt journalism.
I admire your work. Real journalism.
Thanks.
Flashback to 2004, during Bionicle Metro Nui era, 47 enters Bionicle.com without his parents' permission, but not like he has any left, huh? Okay, what kind of keyboard is that? That is definitely not Comic Sans. Now, before starting a mission, we get a briefing from Diana, and what I find weird is that we're supposed to be in 47's basement where he does God knows what, but we also hear some background noises in the ICA's HQ. Weird, but never mind about that. This is where we get to select our weapons from where you find throughout your missions, or your own personal weapons where you can upgrade and customize it to your liking. I have never upgraded my other weapons except for my silver ballers and sniper rifle, which feels like a huge waste of money since I never bothered using the other weapons since why should I go loud in the stealth game? Isn't 47 meant to be this mythical silent assassin? All that riches just to penalize all my cash prize money. What a joke. So we're now in Chile and our task here is to kill a father and son duo? Again with this? Well, it's in a wine refinery this time, so at least there's a difference. To get to the dad, you'll need to get an elite guard disguise, and from here on, that's where you can finally pull off the fiber wire kill on him. Now keep in mind you are short on cash playing this for the first time, and since my lockpick has maxed out its upgrade, I was able to get into his room with no problems. But if you're patient enough, you can try to sniper assassin him if he's looking out the balcony. As for the son, I assassinated him by using a bomb on the winch. While it is an accident kill, it can ruin your silent assassin ranking since some NPCs might think it's a murder and not an accident since no one saw the object falling. You also have to make sure he stands on this specific spot, otherwise he just won't get hit. Shame I can't poison his cocaine drug, but I guess a coin toss and a syringe should be fine enough for a silent assassin rank. Now if you check the briefing menu, you can actually buy and purchase hints that allow you to help make the game easier for you to guide. But of course it gets expensive the more you buy the newer intel. Can't offer service unless you have the money. Or it can just restart the game after reading the hints. Cheater. Now getting out of Chile is where things get tough. And this is only the second level by the way. The problem is you have this guard here who will get to see you when you're going and this is the only path out of here. So I'm not even sure how these visitors got here in the first place. And don't get me started on the sneak mode. Yes, I am glad that the crouch mode and sneak mode being separate buttons are gone now. But pray, I mean you better pray that he doesn't see your bald head over the crate you're hiding behind. Finish the level, and you get a results screen featuring this calm and peaceful music where you can finally rest easy. It's over. Okay, never mind about what I said on being calm and peaceful. Now perhaps my favorite part of the results screen is that once the numbers have been counted, it recompiles itself into this newspaper report of recent events. Personally, I think I'm fine with whatever title I get. As long as no one saw me, that is. I mean, it's an assassination mission anyway, so if he dies, he dies. Alright, so what do we got here? Specialist mod by police. Violent episode that caused one additional death. Emergence of cloning? Okay. No tengo ninguna aquí. Estoy escribiendo www.hitman.com. Oh, and one more thing. When you get off the level, just make sure you get your suit back. Otherwise, the ICA will tax you 5k for losing it. That's right, 5k. And that means 1k of plane flights, plus 1k of travel costs, plus 500 for hotel beds with free breakfast meals, plus 500 for search and investigations, plus 500 for souvenirs, plus 200 for travel insurance, because that breakfast meal the guy sent to get your suit back had food poisoning, plus 100 of plane flight returns and an extra 100 for suit retrieval service tax, and finally, another 500 because the dude that was sent to get your suit back got his money stolen by the police for suspected money laundering. All this because of your clumsy forgetfulness. Good frickin' job.
That's my paper, man. That's money.
This is drug money.
Now, if you didn't notice, the game also has a notoriety system, where the more witnesses you get, the more it'll increase and the levels get harder and harder now that NPC civilians and guards know who you are. Sure, you can just lower it down, but even so, I actually hated using my money since, let's face it, if something like this were to happen in real life, it'll just trigger some sort of Streisand effect. Or at least I think that's how the Streisand effect works. But if you're one of those insane people who want to go full max notoriety, then good luck trying a silent assassin, and this has come from someone playing on expert by the way. which was pretty much my entire playthrough from start to finish. Am I a psychopath for playing this on my first playthrough? I only chose this just because the increased AI behavior, limited agency assistance, and evidence impacting rating felt like this is the way it's meant to be played. Man, if only this game had a custom difficulty system. I could do some experimenting. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when it comes to the limited saving, whatever you do when you load the game, make sure you don't press the restart button, or else the progress you made will get deleted forever! No, come on! Next mission takes place in the Paris Theater, and the objective here is to kill these two child traffickers doing a stage play rehearsal. Disgusting creep.
Good evening, 47. Your destination is the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City. Your target is convicted sex offender and American financier Jeffrey Epstein.
One's watching in the VIP section while the other is rehearsing. From here, you either have the choice to kill the target via the backstage, or if you want to, you can try pulling off an Alec Baldwin moment.
The target is down, and not even by your own hand.
Bombs? You want it?
Caffeine!
Let's see, the morning paper we've got French people eating frogs, La Tour Eiffel construite par des aliens de Jupiter, Invasion des Noirs, and I don't know how to pronounce that. English, cat spark killer explosion. Titre feu, sacre bleu. Cover the H behind. What are you doing? You are losing les elections. After completing the Paris mission, 47 gets gunned down by a police officer and starts reminiscing his old memories before he passes out and dies. Yeah, just go play contracts. Again, if that game was never made, would the original levels of that game be in here? Well, after playing Blood Money, it's safe to say no, cause this would be the last time we'd ever get a mission taking place in a foreign land, and I mean, if it were added in, then it would feel very out of place, cause it feels like filler that serves no purpose of the main plot taking place in the present day. This Contracts really is an expansion pack after all. And speaking of story, unlike in Silent Assassin where the plot gets thrown off board and Contracts where there isn't even a story, Blood Money presents itself like a TV show or anthology, and it actually does remind the players the plot of the story, which is about this wheelchair bad guy here creating a cover story and documenting the death of 47. Although, when we do get to a story that takes place during the good guy's perspective, well, I think anti-hero is the right word, they don't seem to talk much about the recent events about what happened in France, despite the last game's ending seems to be building up to that climax until, nah, forget about you, we're taking you to America, 47. Now, I don't want to bash this game since most of the levels will now take place in America, aka the most overused location in pop culture history, next to Japan.
I love anime!
But Hitman to me has always been about traveling and murdering the targets in different diverse locations of the world. From the gangster underworld of Hong Kong to exotic jungles to Middle Eastern villages to prestigious European urban landscapes, but in here, this is where most of the game will take place in. I mean, even the game's description says so. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I do like how some of the levels will get better and better. Though there doesn't seem to be any New York Times Square themed levels around. But there is a town parade, and we'll get to that later. Now, one thing to mention is that despite 47's focus of the story doesn't seem to talk about the main plot, there are some subtle hints here and there, especially in these papers and these guys here, talking about an albino man, where it doesn't seem like you aren't alone and the antagonistic forces might be watching over you. It kinda makes me think that the main character of the story isn't 47, but it's actually the villains, while you're simply the horror movie monster that's been hunting them down. And you know what? That's actually kinda a neat way to tell the story. Look everybody, it's Agent 47's best friend! Agent Smith!
Splendid, 47. It might interest you to know the following. A sudden shift in the delicate power balance of the New York families. 2 low-level contracts just came in. In addition to your primary target, 2 members of the same group are currently staying at the facility. Terminating either will result in a $50,000 bonus per head.
I just did, woman.
Caffeine!
Ah, what a beautiful, lovely day in the neighborhood. Gotta admit, when I first played this level, I actually used to love it, but playing this for the second time, I thought this level was too small and too short. But regardless, it does have enough options and surprisingly feels alive despite having only a few NPCs around. One of them being this jogger, which you need to be careful from, and this dumpster guy out of nowhere since he moves slow, and sometimes unexpected. There's also the king of burgers himself, Burger King. Oops, wrong game. And you can snipe your target and kill him early. You can enter the party, use a toy gun to tranquilize a dog, commit sexual harassment.
Excuse me? Oh, I thought you were the garbage man. Who are you?
Names of our friends, so I don't need one.
I guess the part that adds tension to this level is to obtain the Hitman YouTuber clown costume because, well, despite being a drinker, you can't find a way to sedate him because he always keeps a drink in his pocket. And there's a likely chance that a jogger might appear to ruin your day. And the slow syringe animation and the guards! The guards!
Huh?
Whew. I guess that's what I call a tricky situation. Let's see what we got here. Professional wanted by police, FBI albino manhunt, Governor H behind. What are you doing? Ooh, lemon sale. Back to the main story. We learned that the reason why the opposing organization wants 47 dead is because of his fear that he might create a clone army. Which I don't think 47 cares since he's already killed his own clones, and I also feel like this guy is a complete hypocrite since he also makes his own clones. Albino ones, but not the blondie that I want. So this game takes place in a pro-cloning society, huh? Why aren't we cloning meat again? Huh. Guess that explains everything. Actually, I need to check if lab-grown arms are a thing. Oh. We'll give it 10 or 2 years, then we might have regrowable limbs. If we have the funding, I guess. Now, this mission here feels a lot more alive. I might not have this game on the PS2, but even by today's standards, having a level with huge crowds at the time is still impressive. Sheesh, that has a lot of objectives. Now, the real question is, can I shoot the rope holding the piano instead of using a bomb? Oh. Guess we'll have to wait for 10 years for that. Or I could just throw a coin and kill her. Now with the walkie-talkie, you can use this to find where the other target is hiding. And he's next in one of the clubs here, in which you can't get in unless you have the right uniform. With all the targets down, the next thing you need to do is kill the leader in his hideout, or by using the balcony where he's hiding if you're willing to sacrifice your perfect run. Can't call this game Hitman Blood Money without anybody investigating blood. Yeah, this seems like the only game with this feature, and I'd like to see how this would work in the future. And if you're good enough, you can use it to distract enemies. And not to read the papers. Let's see, we got Violence Spurs cloning support.
Begun. The Clone War has.
Quote of the day by George Bush, not sure if it's senior or junior, but good to know he exists in this timeline. But not as the president. Democrats winning, Republicans low, and oh, Governor H behind, quit losing the polls and get back on track already. Gotta admit, I wasn't exactly a huge fan of this level, but it grew on me, and it has one of the most terrifying kills yet, which is shooting a glass swimming pool which leads to all these swimmers here fall down to their deaths.
Bombs? You want it?
Kaboom!
Now the loading screen here states that there's actually a third target in this level, but I have no idea who it is and assume it was just a tape, which is the dumbest thought I ever had. Hey, remember in the beginning cutscene when they mentioned this?
We even had our best agent on the spot. We were ready.
What I didn't know is that the third target is an optional spy trying to kill you, and I didn't even know about this until my third playthrough of this level.
47.
Try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Names of our friends, so I don't need one.
And there's also ghost haunting, okay? Now, as much as how frisking here is less punishing and more forgiving, if you're one of those people trying to steal a weapon and take them to the end, just be careful that one of them might confiscate your gun. This will make a fine addition to my gun. No.
Thanks. You're all set.
Man, seeing this level taking place on a steamboat kinda makes me wish there's a level taking place on a cruise ship. No, the training level of World of Assassination does not count. And it was small too. Hey, remember when some Hitman games had a bunch of grunts as main targets? Yeah, me too. Now the one on the bottom is a bit challenging since he might see you lockpick. There's also these workers around here that you need to sneak around before they see you. The rest of the grunts to kill are, well, yeah, I had an easier time killing them. Well, can't spell boysenberry without the word poison in it. Why is it called poisonberry anyway?
You forgot your tip.
That's alright.
I insist.
47, you fool! You ruined your silent assassin rating! Can't be helped since this piece of crap was just staring for like 2 seconds and not leave. The next level, still taking place in Mississippi, is the level where I turn into a batshit insane psychopath. Not because it's hard and all, but I remember on my first playthrough there was this glitch I encountered where right after I bombed the target I spoke to the bride and pulled off a glitch where she just stopped talking to me and went straight to her dead husband. I tried so hard to recreate this glitch, but I just couldn't do it. I'm trying with all the power and with all the best that I can, that the only thing I want to do this level is to recreate that glitch. All because of how sudden it was. And eventually, I just gave up.
Congratulations.
I don't believe I...
Let's see, the paper... Is that Chinese Communist Party ad? Now, maybe it's the effects of the last level, but at this point my only solution in killing the targets is nothing but bombs, bombs, and more bombs. I don't know if this game is trying to define that this is the type of assassin I'll be. Well, if I actually become one. But being a mad bomber is slowly turning into the only solution of my problems. Like, I didn't even bother try finding alternate solutions. Is this game trying to tell me something? Am I slowly turning to this insane psychopath at this point? He is coming. He comes for your vehicles, your weddings, and worst of all, your local elevator. Beware the elevator man, for he waits for his prey and bombs them to death. Elevator man, coming soon. Look everybody, a main character! Look everybody, a main character! Well, here's your origin story. And finally, we get to my favorite level in the game, Dance with the Devil, which in my opinion has one of the most creative level designs I've ever seen. First, we got an empty restricted parking lot, a sick dude mentioning a bartender serving a bad drink, subtle foreshadowing, a terrible bad singer who was meant to replace someone, subtle foreshadowing, and to have a heavenly themed club with a calming feeling on top and a hell themed club focusing more on chaos is just full of cleverness and icing on the cake. Hey, remember when some targets felt like boss fights? Yeah, me too. Speaking of which, if you're good enough with stealth, you can prevent a boss fight just by stealth killing them. It's easy in the Heavenly Club, but in the Hell's Club, just make sure you don't talk to him or else he'll duel you to the death. Or just plant a bomb on him.
Bombs? You want it?
Guys, don't look at explosions.
Shh, I have a plan.
Don't be coy with me, 47. I know all about you. You're just the ungainly outcome of a childish experiment with genetic tinker toys. Meet me in the room marked Torture Chamber.
2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7.
Look everybody, it's Agent 47's BFF, Agent Smith.
I've got millions. Got the diamonds back there. Red suitcases worth millions. They want to hit the president in 3 days. In the White House. You get in there, protect him, take the assassins out.
Show me the money.
Ugh, I can't believe I'm forced to do my bestie's dirty work by babysitting a bunch of Karens in their 60s visiting the White House after my favorite politician, Governor H. behind lost. Why? Shh, I have a plan.
I'll take the case. We're gonna have to ask you a few questions, ma'am.
There's been some kind of mistake.
I'm going to jail!
Now, I admit, as much as how the level isn't that challenging since I can just sniper assassin the corrupt vice president, what I don't understand is that armor-piercing rounds don't work on walls and only through doors. Like, what's up with that? Does this have something to do with limitations? I could have killed this guy as quietly as possible. I could have even shot the glass and pierced through the target, but no, I'm forced to go in for a gun duel. And don't even bother trying to remove camera tape evidence, because there's literally zero way, and I mean zero way for you to erase any evidence. I tried to find it, but it doesn't exist, so what's the point of trying to stealth kill a guy when there's evidence of you trying to murder someone? I thought this game is supposed to help you think outside the box. But is stealth even an option at this point? I just realized that's the first time I said the word in this video. Oh well, back to using bombs. Well, at least there's some canonical reason for the bad guys to discover where you are, and probably enough to have you exposed. Wait, I can use bombs in the hideout?
The world's most nefarious assassin died of clumsiness.
I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your love pass you by. Weep not for memories.
Now, my child, rise! And that was Hitman Blood Money. Did it live up to the expectations of what fans said? Well, after playing World of Assassination story mode, side missions, and challenges, coming back to this game, the only thing in my mind was how will this old game from 2006 compete with the newer ones? Well, there are some things that I like, such as this game being the last time to have an FPS mode, upgradable weapons which I rarely purchase, safe house, not counting freelancer mode. I mean, World of Assassination increased all the number of traps, options, and distractions, while Blood Money, at its time, still has enough to provide whatever you have with outside-of-the-box thinking, or exploration and how you kill the targets, but in the end, it's really about how you get there that matters, not the number of knickknacks you can do with the targets. It's all about what the game is able to do, and it's still impressive. Look, I know that Hitman games has always been about killing your targets in the most quiet way possible to get the best score, but if you compare this to Hitman 2 and Contracts, when you get a Silent Assassin ranking, the game rewards you with a prize, a new weapon. But here, when you get Silent Assassin rank, well, you pretty much get, well, nothing, except for having more money. So in the end, I start playing through some of the levels again, but this time, I went loud. What better way to save the American people by sacrificing the lives of many? Remember, no Russian. Do not threaten my dears, for you shall be honored to have your blood sacrificed to the American president. Leave no witnesses. This has got to be the most fun I've ever had playing Blood Money. Can you hear me, President of America? These are the cries of the American children, bathed in blood. More blood for the American president! Psychopath murders 65, 368 shots, 6 witnesses alive? No clue! No clue on the killer's appearance, no clue! I may not have that much money, but who cares? I beat the game, so it was worth it. 4.5 Cinder Points. Look, maybe it's the fact that you can do whatever you want once you get 0 notoriety equals bonus points, but even though that means getting less money, it was still damn worth it. And actually gave me a new approach to freedom just by doing whatever I want. So if I ever want to come back to this game, then I'll do it just by messing around with the level and, well, just have fun with it. and go back stealth if I want to go stealth. If I want to go nuts, well, I'll just go full-on Terminator on everyone. It's that simple. So, great entry into the series, and I actually had low expectations coming back, believe it or not. But I'm glad I had fun with it. Well, guess that's all for now. This is Cinder logging off until next time.
The shark attack at the end was so realistic. How you figure she did that?